Hello, everyone. I'm Tracy DeMario, and I am the Superstar Director for the Scented Bliss family. So thank you guys for joining us tonight. We are going to be talking to you star consultants about going next level, which is a huge deal. First of all, if you didn't know this already, there's actually a very small percentage of consultants that ever promote to star consultant and above. So number one, congratulations. It actually is a very big deal. This is also a pivotal point where one of two things happens to people when they hit star consultant. Either they hit star consultant and they get to where, oh, I'm now a star consultant, everything's just going to take care of itself. Or they realize, you know what, it's kind of a big jump to go to superstar consultant. I got to have to do some more work. And you know what, I don't think I want to do that much work. And so they just peter out. So that's what some choose to do. Others see what's possible. As a star consultant, you are only 16 star consultants away from superstar director. Did you guys hear that? Once you have 16 star consultants on your team, you should be a superstar director. Okay? So when you think of it like that, this doesn't have to be years down the road, guys. This truly can evolve and it can happen fairly quickly. Now, my main focus with you guys tonight is what can you do this month to get you closer to superstar consultant? Depending on the dynamics of your current team, it could happen this month. Some of you, however, have a team of 2. You have the 2 that helped you promote to star consultant. So is it unrealistic to think you can't promote to superstar consultant this month? No, it's certainly not. However, it's more realistic that this is something that this month you might use to build on, knowing in a month or 2, it might be more realistic. So I just want to help give you guys kind of a sense of reality. If you have a team already of 2, 4, 4, 6, 8, much more plausible that you could reach superstar consultant. If you have a team of 2, it may be next month. But either way, it's the work you do now that's going to get you closer. So let's focus on what that needs to look like and what that plan needs to look like. Some of this information is not new to you. However, I know there's a couple of you on here that are brand new star consultants. So I want to cover the basics and keep in mind when I'm going over this content, this is the same content that you can have with some of your lead consultants that might be on your team right now and your future star consultants. So keep that in mind. First and foremost, we know that you have to have your 500 PRV. That's an absolute must. It's a non-negotiable, and you can control that. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that you have 6 to 8 bookings secured for this month. It's an absolute must, because here's what we know. If you book 6 to 8, you're going to have some that are going to cancel. It happens to all of us. I don't care who you are, how great you think you are. It will happen to you. You are going to have some that are going to be complete busts. They're going to be bombs. Nothing is going to ever present themselves with them. It's going to happen. That's why we say book 6 to 8, knowing that that's going to happen to you. The next piece of that is try, if at all possible, to book them the first 2 weeks of this month. Jam as much as you can between now and the 15th of the month. Now, if someone says, I want to do it on the 26th, of course, you're not going to say no. But we want to try to get as much as we can booked those first 2 weeks. Now, when we say bookings, that could mean virtual parties. It could be in-home parties. It could mean an event. It could mean a fundraiser. All of those count for a booking, okay? So that's what you guys can control. And that's what you guys need to be doing. Next, your team of 2, your team of 4. And when I say team, I'm not talking specific frontline. So if you have a team member that has sponsored someone, remember, they're still a part of your team. They still contribute to your TWV, and your goal is 6,000 TWV. So yes, they have a sponsor. And if you know their sponsor's a superstar and they're fantastic and they're on top of it, great. But the reality is probably about half of your team members that have a sponsor, I'm just going to be honest, because this is the nature of the business, they're not invested. They're not training that team member. They haven't offered a launch party. They're not doing anything. They couldn't tell you what's launching on Monday. They probably don't even have a current catalog. We all have those team members. And if you don't, you will. So if they're in your team and you've not reached out to them and just say, hi, I'm a part of your upline support. Just wanted to see if you've had your launch party, or if you would like for me to co-host a launch party with you, you should and could be doing that right now. Okay, so they're on your team, they're still a part of you, and they still contribute to your numbers. So make sure, if you haven't done that already, that you're doing that. So that's really important. If you're not using Visly, I highly recommend it. I'm not going to do a training specific to Visly, but I will tell you it will make it much easier for you to offer to co-host some launch events or some scent events with your team members if you're using Visly. So that's a separate training topic, but if you don't know what I'm talking about, I highly encourage you to investigate that. We've talked about it a lot in the Scent and Bliss family group. You can simply search it. It's Vizzlie. So make a note of that. Okay, the next piece on all of this is not a secret, but you are going to have to make sponsoring a priority. So again, here's how this should work and what it should look like. You've got those 6 to 8 scent events. Let's just pretend that 3 or 4 of them actually hold, and they actually end up being qualifying parties. At that point, your goal should be, at a minimum, to flip 1 or 2 of them to your new team members. This should always be your goal. I mean, you want to ask every single host, but in reality, 1 to 2 should convert if you're doing this right. So 6 to 8 events, we're going to assume 3 to 4 hold. You flip 1 to 2. Now you've got a bigger front line, okay? And you're teaching your team to do the same. And that's how you're going to continue to grow this thing this month. Now, if you can pull off more than 6 to 8, go for it as far as bookings. But in reality, if you do that, and think about that. So if you currently have a team of 2 and you add 1 to 2 more, and then you get the 1 to 2 team members you already had, and then they're booking some events and they're duplicating your efforts in sponsoring 1 to 2, think about the TWV and how that's going to start multiplying. That 6,000 doesn't sound as scary anymore, does it? Okay, so that's how you guys need to break this down into what tasks do I need to be doing? Where am I going to come up with my active frontline? You don't want to rely, if you only have 3 frontline, you do not want to depend on all 3 of them getting active. That's not real. I'll tell you that right now. You'll be lucky if a third of them consistently work the business. That it's just a numbers game. It is reality. It's not you. It doesn't mean you're a lousy sponsor. It doesn't mean you did anything wrong. That's just direct sales in general. So just get that out of your head, but don't bank on all 3 of them getting active, because the odds are slim that all 3 will. That's why you want to add that 1 or 2 more. Now here's the next piece. I'm not going to do a training on the host kit. Hopefully all of you guys are utilizing it. You all know about it. If you don't, I will tell you, Stephanie Breimer recently just did a really good video on all things host kit. She actually visually presented it on the workstation so you can see how she puts it in, and it's all there. It's really good. And I will share that video in this event, so you guys can see that later if you've not watched it. Really good for both you if you're not familiar, you've not experienced it yet, so you can see what it looks like, and for you to teach your team members. Okay, so if you are doing this, and remember, you're going to have 1 to 2 that are potentially going to become your team members from those bookings. You can flip that PRV. When you flip the PRV, now they're magically active. So now not only do you still have other events that are going to be your PRV to help you get your 500, now you've potentially got 1 or 2 active by flipping the PRV of their events. And then you already have 3 other team members, or however many you currently have, 2 or 3 team members, and 1 of them will surely get active. So now you've got your active frontline. Now you've got new team members, and now you're going to get closer to that 6,000 TWV because you've got them all doing PRV activities, and your current team members, you've helped them with launch parties, relaunch parties, scent events, whatever. So that's where that's going to come from. The biggest thing you guys need to focus on is for the ones who are actually doing. So those team members that, say, yes, please co-host a party with me. They're asking you questions. They're interacting with you. Those are the people you want to stay closest to, and you want them duplicating your efforts. So when you're learning things, when you're doing things, you want to be sharing with them so that they're duplicating what you're doing. If you do a customer mailing, show them what your customer mailing looks like. If you do a follow-up template with Amy, share what your follow-up template with Amy looks like. The sooner they can start duplicating your tasks and what you're doing, the sooner they're going to start seeing the same type of results that you're seeing, which is going to help you. Now, a couple of other things that I want to share, some of which might be just stuff you already know, but I don't like to make assumptions. If you yourself have not already got the calendar, Scentsy calendar synced, please make sure you do that. As a leader, you now have a responsibility to be knowledgeable and to share support and information with your team. When you sync the calendar on your devices, I have it on my phone and on my computer, it's going to tell me that there's an LTO launching on Monday. It's going to tell me there's a training Tuesday. It's going to tell me it's the last day to register for World Tour or whatever it is. It's going to help me do my job as a leader so that I can remind my team, send out personal invitations and reminders. If you don't know what I'm talking about, on the workstation in the menu, there's an area that says calendar. If you click it, you can follow the directions on how to sync it to your device, because depending on the device, it varies on how to do that. Then teach your team members. Again, the more invested they are, the more likely they're going to see results. So that's a biggie. The other one is, do you understand how much PRV you need in order to promote to next level whenever you're proceeding through the month? This is a common thing that people get really confused. It typically happens on the last day of the month when they're really close to hitting numbers. They're so excited because they know they need 6,000 TWV and they think they have 5,600 TWV, so they can put in 400 PRV and they're going to have 6,000. It doesn't work like that, because you have to remember we only get a percentage of that as far as, remember, the 25% comes off. So there's an actual formula and a calculation that you need to understand how to do, not only so that you ensure you're paid at title and or don't miss a promotion, but also so that your team members get paid at title or don't miss a promotion. So those are things that I want to be sure that you understand. And I will share the image that has the calculation, because that way we don't have to spend a lot of time on this specifically, in case some of you guys don't know what I'm talking about or how to do that. And if you're still not sure after this training, then message me so we can go through it to make sure you guys understand it, because it's really, really important that you do. The next thing is, I do know I talked with Jackie. She said she would be open to this. I don't know if you guys have an interest. I already have a training curriculum specifically for STAR consultants and above. And I don't know if there's interest. I mean, I'm thrilled that you guys are on this call, but we have a lot more STAR consultants. And so if there's interest in doing a STAR consultant and above training program specifically that would run about 30 days, that would target, again, just you building on this as far as getting STAR, Superstar consultant and such, that is something that I would like to do through the project broadcast format, because I really like the texting format, but we also would have it available on Facebook too. So if there's interest in that, make sure that you guys are messaging me and letting me know, so that you guys, because if I'm not your director, you don't necessarily always get the same information. So I want to know if you're interested to make sure that you're on my invite list if we decide to proceed with that. So let me know on that. A couple of things I wanted to share. I know I've gone over reports, and some of you guys might be pretty savvy with this, but I've also discovered that, I mean, even some directors, some new directors I was doing some training with, and there were some things on the reporting tab they were not familiar with. So I want to do some quick cheats on the reporting tab for those of you guys that may or may not be familiar with that. So I am going to actually stop the recording because I don't want to have my screen with my back office stuff recorded. So I'm going to stop the recording. So if you're watching the recording, you're like, what? I don't know how to do these reports. let me know and I can send you a separate training specifically with some report information.